everyone, and welcome to another episode of Always Open. I'm your host, Barbara Dunkelman, and I'm actually not going to host the intro of this. One of my guests is going to do the intro.
Hi, I'm Blizz, and welcome to Always Open. Today, we are opening up those walls and the gates of hell, and it's going to be great. With me today, I have Barbara.
Yeah!
And Joe.
Joe
Hi.
Lee.
Hello. Hi, everyone. Welcome to Always Open. I'm your host, Joe.
There it is. And who are you joined by today?
I'm joined by my special guests, Blizz and Barbara.
Hello. Wow. Thank you guys for having me.
Yeah, it's it was a little hard to get you, the booking wise, but you're here, and that's all that matters.
I know I'm busy doing this other show.
Yeah, you're doing
Never closed.
season 17 of Ruby.
Yeah. We're so ahead.
We're so ahead.
People want us to greenlight Volume 10, but little do they know.
About 17.
It's probably such a bad joke for people who really want Volume 10.
I know.
We're working on it. Well, hi, guys.
Hi.
Hello.
Welcome back.
Thank you.
It's been a while, Joe. We had you on like episode 3, I think.
Yeah, it was like right when, I think it was even before the first episode had come out.
Yeah, because we pre-recorded a whole bunch,
Yep, and then now I'm here, and I'm ready to be always closed.
I mean, thank God this episode is live right now and not pre-recorded.
No, definitely not. Definitely not pre-recorded months in advance.
As you type your comments in the comment section, we're actually going to read them and talk about them on the show right now.
Yeah, live. Oh, thank you, Alex Baker, for that great comment about our outfits today.
Yeah, thank you.
I feel like that's a safe one.
And then everyone's going to scroll through the comments. Like, oh my God, they actually commented.
There's someone named Alex Baker who's just like, what the fuck?
I was going to comment about the outfits.
I know. It is October that this is coming out in. And so like we're in a bit of our spooky gear. I'm wearing a shirt that says, "Boo, you horror."
I didn't get it when you explained.
Christian loves it. It's a Mean Girls / Scream reference, which I'd never thought I would see a mashup for.
That was
awesome.
that was the most like not even aggressive laugh. It was just like
It was genuine.
and I was like, oh.
That's my goal. Every episode we record, I want to make someone in studio laugh.
Well, Barbie, you make me laugh every time.
Thank you.
Yeah, every time I've been here, I've laughed.
Good.
I've had a good time.
We want people to have a good time. We want it to be a fun, comfortable place.
I cry every time we do the show.
Oh, wait, did you cry last time?
No.
Oh, okay. I cried on this show.
You did?
Cried on this show.
Oh, I'm sure someday soon. There's going to be a question. I've got a lot of trauma, man.
Hey, we'll work to find it. In a very consensual manner.
We're breaking down those walls.
Yeah, the first time we had Joe on the show, we actually talked a lot about his multiple concussions that he's had.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I've had like 6 or 7.
Which is
not a lot.
Just still wild. And let's keep it
Let's
at that
keep it
number.
at 6 and 7.
I'm shooting for number 8.
Whoa, how?
I don't know. Wherever the wind
I
takes
do
me,
have
you know.
a video of you that I found the other day that I forgot I took. This was from probably a year ago. Wait, when did you start?
I started in December 2022. 2021.
2021.
Jesus Christ.
Okay, so it was probably maybe like 8 months ago or something like that. I was sitting in our office, and I see Trevor, Michael, and Joe standing by the window, and Joe is just banging his head on the glass of our window.
Oh,
and I was like,
Was that concussion 6?
no, that was me going for number 8.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just didn't work out. I didn't have like the will to continue on.
But it was just Trevor and Michael just standing there watching, and as he's going, doom.
Yeah. And then right after that, they all looked at me and was like, "What is wrong with you?"
Just an average day here.
It's an average day.
At Rooster Teeth.
How do you explain what you do? Because me trying to explain this to my mom, she doesn't understand. And so now she's just kind of boiled it down to I teach people how to play video games. Which is like not wrong.
Which is not wrong, but also very
not right. Yeah. So I don't even know how to explain like what we do here.
Yeah, it's hard for, I think, like the generation that didn't grow up with this kind of thing to really explain what we're doing and why people care. I have the luxury, I guess, of my family all understanding it because my parents are actually like Rooster Teeth fans.
Oh, interesting.
So they like watch tons of content. So the funny thing is watching them explain it to their friends or my grandparents, like what I do.
See, I've got the challenge of obviously like the generational difference, but my mom is also like just incredibly I don't know how else to put it. I guess just like foreign. Like she's just like an old Asian lady now. And it sounds mean, but like, it's the only way I can
it's not
explain it. So she doesn't understand like much of it.
Well, yeah, it's also just culturally very.
Yeah.
It's culture. Yeah, you know what? Hey, there we go. She's culturally challenged.
I don't know if that's it, but
Joe's
yeah.
talking about his own mom.
I don't know if that's it, but like I get what you're going at.
It's different.
Yeah, because you can't really say like, oh, I make videos on the internet, because that sounds like you're talking about porn.
Yeah.
So it's hard to really
yeah,
say
that
that,
does
especially.
I'd
for,
rather
like,
just say that honestly at this point, though.
Yeah, you can just say like I make videos on.
I make videos on the internet.
People watch it, and sometimes they enjoy it, and
Sometimes they don't.
It's even weird explaining it to people who just aren't in this industry. Like they just don't really get it. Like even when I talk to people about like streaming or when we record stuff, they just don't really understand like how it all works and what
or
it
like
really is.
how it could be a full-time job or a job at all.
That's the whole reason why I moved to Austin. Well, other than like here. But in Maryland, there wasn't a lot of people that understood what I did. So I always had to have like a backstory and explain. I was like, I'm so tired. I want to be around other people who understand what I'm doing and like going through.
Well, if you enjoy what we do here at Rooster Teeth, you could support us by becoming a first member. It is a massive way to support what we do here for Always Open, but also all the stuff Blizz and Joe and everyone here is making and working on. It's essentially, if you have a first membership for a year, it's the equivalent of watching 6,000 YouTube videos with 2 ads per video. So you see how much it supports us and helps us do what we do. So consider becoming a first member today. Ding!
Ding.
Do it.
Add explosions in the edit randomly.
And also, if you can't become a first member, which we totally understand, even just watching for free on the roosterteeth.com website is also extremely helpful to what we do. So thank you very much. This ad brought to you by Barbara Dunkelman and her friends.
Look, be a first member so you can watch Survive Block Island season 1 and Meltdown.
Yeah. Joe and I were on season 1.
Yeah, we were on season 1. That was
and had no drama.
No drama. It was my first big production, so I kind of just like
mine
I
was
just kind of sat through it and I was just like, yep.
Yeah, Joe wasn't even. You had, I think, just moved to Austin, or like we're about to move to Austin.
No, I wasn't even in Austin. It was the week that I was moving. I had to film the entire week, and then right as soon as the final episode wrapped, I had to break down my computer and all my like shit and pack it up and leave. So.
Same with you?
It
no,
was
you were
very
already here.
No, I was at home.
I forgot.
I was in Maryland.
Yeah.
But it was my first big production, and that's something that I connected with another contestant on there, and they immediately was like, good, now I have Blizz, now time to destroy him. So
and revenge will be had.
Revenge
someday.
will be had.
But yeah, definitely check out Survive Block Island. It's a series that all 3 of us participated in, and it's on Rooster Teeth, and it's, I think, one of my favorite things.
I had so much fun.
Oh yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Even though it was stressful as fuck.
Yo, yes.
And I was so worried it was going to ruin friendships like in real life. But it didn't, right?
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
All right, well, let's get to some of our icebreaker questions for today. This one, I feel like you all might have different answers. I don't know. I like to predict sometimes what people are going to say. Okay. This question is, what is more important in your life? Passion, happiness, or accomplishment?
Ooh.
Chew on that a little bit.
It's weird because they all kind of go together.
Yep.
They're all kind of like intermingled with each other in a way.
Okay.
I see accomplishment and happiness intermingling a lot more than passion.
Okay. Interesting. I would think like happiness and passion would be more.
Oh, I guess. Maybe they are just all connected.
Yeah.
I was just seeing it as like, God, it would be such a good accomplishment if I could be happy. And I'm like, oh, okay. Maybe happiness might be the thing that I'm like really going towards. So I think happiness is important.
Happiness, I'd say, is my number one.
Yeah.
We talk about it on the show so often, so I apologize to people who listen to every episode and have had to hear me say this so often. But like, to me, I don't really care about accomplishing much as long as I'm happy.
Yeah.
And I like, obviously, I think it's important to be passionate about what you do. But if you're just happy, just, doing something, going to work, coming home and living your life, and you're just content, great.
Yeah. That's perfect.
I think there's this idea that someone has to be like so accomplished, so passionate about something, and like really leave a mark on the world. And it's so much pressure that it puts on society, I think, especially young people who are looking like to go to college or further their education. And they're like, I don't know what I want to do when I grow up. Like, I need to come up with something that I'm super passionate about.
college ruined me.
Yeah.
In the best way, like, yeah, now I have a degree, but like I also have like mental illness. So it's like
It's the best of both worlds.
you get both, and it's fine, I guess, for now.
And debt.
And debt. Forgot
Let's
about
not
that
forget
part.
that.
Mhm.
Jesus.
Stress. Jesus.
Did you go to college, Joe?
No, I did not. I dropped
okay.
out of high school. I dropped out officially in my senior year, but I stopped going to school when right when I turned 15.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought this is gonna be stupid of me to ask, but I thought you're only allowed to drop out when you're 16. Isn't there like some
Yeah.
type of-
So there's like truancy laws, right?
Okay.
With going to school and you're not showing up, you're under 16. So I stopped going to school when I was like 15 because I was working basically full time.
Wow.
And I just kind of stopped going to school. I would go to school probably like once a month. Like I would just show up just to like appease the
Be like, I
like
still
all the people to
exist.
school. And then I got into my senior year and they were like, technically you could still graduate if you pass all your classes this year and then you do a summer course. And I was like, I'm not doing all that because I'm still working.
Yeah.
And at that point I was also incredibly depressed.
God, yeah.
And I was dealing with a lot of like just like a kid with depression just deals like whatever they deal with.
I mean, at 15 or even younger, it's like, how do you even cope, or not cope, but how do you even like process those emotions?
Yeah, exactly. And so I think like the first 2 weeks that my senior year started, I was like, nope, I'm dropping out. I dropped out. And
Wow.
I got my GED the day after I dropped out, and it took me an hour and a half to get an equivalent of a high school diploma.
Wow.
So
Hey, high school kids, yeah, no, don't recommend you drop out.
Yeah, we're not
but-
saying like drop out, but like that you sped run.
Yeah,
Yeah.
seriously.
That was a
it was
speed run.
easy. It was really easy. And that's like, for me it was, because I wasn't dumb. Like,
Yeah.
a lot of my courses were like 4 or 5 years in advance, and like what they considered 4 or 5 years in advance. And I just didn't go to school because I had to work. So.
It is a little wild that, when you're in high school and you already have to start picking courses in like the 11th and 12th grade to correspond with like what you want to major in college. And so to expect someone who's like 15, 16 years old to be like, hey, what do you want to do for the rest of your life?
My brain is
Figure
not
that
fully
out.
developed until the
no.
age of 25. So-
But like even still, I don't know.
not.
Like even if you ask me now to pick a college course, I'm like, I don't know. There's just like so much stuff I want to do.
Barb, I was supposed to be a doctor. What happened?
Wow.
What
Hard
happened?
left turn.
What happened? Please let me know.
Yeah, you went to school for
Biochemistry.
biochem. Yeah.
And did some I was trying to do a focus on environmental science as well, and like water treatment.
Do you think that if what you're doing now ever like went away, or you just like didn't want to do it anymore, you might explore that?
Yeah, but like an entry-level lab thing or entry-level lab situation for me with just a bachelor's in science is going to be so much less money.
I know.
So I would have to do it like as a passion,
Yeah.
not as actually
Which
wanting
would be
to.
important.
I believe in you.
But would I be happy?
I think you're gonna help solve this climate change issue that we're having around the world.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Bliz, you guys heard it here first. Bliz is gonna save us all.
Oh no,
Thank you
Yeah.
so much.
That's how
Yeah.
that's how it's gonna be like shown on the news too. It's gonna say Blizzb3ar.
Dr. Blizzb3ar.
Yes, Dr. Blizzb3ar.
The third.
Oh,
He's come to our rescue.
I'll take. I'm the doctor of RT now.
Yeah. I always think about that like alternative universe situation of a lot of people who work here, and like if you didn't have this job, where would you end up? Do you know what you would be doing if it wasn't for like streaming and
Oh, that's a
gaming industry?
I could give a really honest answer that's probably very dark, or I could give a
I think I
normal
know
answer.
exactly
Okay.
where you're going.
Well, should we have just a quick content warning just in case?
Yeah, we can do a content warning. I honestly, I didn't like. I'd probably be dead in a ditch somewhere.
You think so?
No joke. I had a really bad drinking problem, drug problem. I had like no aspirations in my life because it was just
Yeah.
like I had been so depressed for like years and years, which like I guess goes in like hand in hand with this question. Like I would choose happiness because
Yeah.
I think a lot of people take that for granted, and it's also really hard to find happiness in a world that's pretty fucked up.
It's also hard to just recognize it when you are happy sometimes, because you always
Yeah.
are thinking like, I will be happy when this or
Yeah.
when that or when I get there, and it's like,
You
do
got
you
there and you're not
recognize that
happy.
you are currently happy?
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's tough.
Yeah, content creation was weird because it made me feel like I had more people around me, even though it was just me alone in a room.
But it was like a community, right? Like you feel like you're part of something.
Yeah,
I get that.
It was definitely different, and it was not something that I had ever like strived to do. I would never like growing up. I was never like, oh, I want to be a streamer. I want to be someone who creates content on YouTube.
Yeah.
It just happened one day. I just decided to do it, and it worked out.
Probably saved your life.
Yeah.
Sounds like.
Yeah, and it was like, granted, content creation is very stressful, and it can be very stressful. But I think that it really kind of opened my eyes in a sense to that, like the world is not as small as you think it is.
Yeah, it's a great point.
We talked about that actually this weekend because I did not know anything about like your background or anything, and I go, oh. You and my dad would get along. You and my dad would get along and talk about many of things. For background, like my dad grew up as a drug dealer.
I did not know that.
It was for survival when he lived in Detroit. He worked under someone named White Rick, and
like
there's a movie.
Name.
There's a movie about him.
Really?
Yeah, he's like this white guy in Detroit who was like one of the kings of selling. Yeah, kind of. But he used to work for him and do stuff like just for survival for his family and stuff like that. So then he met my mom and they fell in love and he changed his ways. And it was like one of those, I know it was disgusting. Joined the military.
They should have made a movie about him instead.
I know, right?
Instead of White Rick.
It's a Hallmark movie probably. But I was like, oh yeah, when I had a drug presentation in health class in like, I think 8th grade, I had to like study PCP and the effects of PCP. And my dad goes, oh, I can tell you everything about that. And I go, huh?
And you can go, why?
And that opened up so much.
Is that when you found out about his past? Wow.
Yeah. And I always knew there was something he was like wanting to tell me.
Yeah.
But like it was that. I come from like a family of hustlers. Like everyone in my family has worked about 2 to 3 jobs like their entire life. And so like I'm like technically I'm doing that too with streaming and working here. And I'm like,
you are a hustler.
All right, I might be following in my family's footsteps. I might need to break that.
Let me tell you about PCP.
Yeah, I mean the thing is though, with like having that type of mindset, you never give yourself a break. So like my parents don't know how to, 1, love them to death, take a break or vacation, or 2, ask for help because they're very prideful in like what they do. And I'm like, hey, if you ain't got it, you ain't got it. Just ask for help. It's okay.
I've been appreciating the fact that you seem to be taking breaks every now and then, recognizing that you need one and taking it.
Oh, I've been seeing signs of like potential burnout and being like, oh, nope, no. We gotta take some time to ourselves. Let's spend the entire day just at the pool.
Yeah. Or
staying away from social media and like actually resting your brain for a bit.
Have you been working on that too, Joe?
See, burnout was a topic we had actually on the last episode I was on.
Yeah, we had you and Jack on, talked about burnout.
No, I have not gotten better with dealing with my burnout. No. I don't know. I feel too like it makes me feel guilty, and like I don't know. I guess there are people who know, but like I just have like a really guilty conscience. So like it like taking breaks doesn't feel normal for me, and I think it probably comes from that like almost childhood trauma of like just working all the time and like
dropping out of school at 15.
Yeah. I think that probably is the reason why it doesn't feel right to take.
You're in hustler mindset right now, Joe.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
It's not a good mindset.
It's not a good mindset.
No.
It's productive, but it's not the best.
Any advice you could give, Joe, in terms of like, hey, here's some things to take some breaks and maybe not feel so guilty about it?
I can say what happened to me. Your body will completely shut down and you will have to.
Sweet.
So to completely prevent that, do it before.
Listen, no, technically I got a little bit of a break this weekend. I had a 3-day weekend because I had food poisoning.
Well,
so I didn't.
Sometimes
look,
the
I didn't
universe.
Work. I didn't do anything. I laid in bed for 2 days straight. I didn't do anything. That's technically a break.
Lost a couple pounds.
That's so you're so close.
It's a break, man.
So
I completely relate though, and I get that feeling of guilt.
Yeah.
Especially like it's not. I don't think it's like a Rooster Teeth specific thing. I think it's like any environment or career where you're working with a lot of people and like people rely on you to do part of the bigger picture thing that needs to get done. And especially when you're a performer and you feel like, oh, if I'm not there, I'm going to be either forgotten or I'm going to miss out on something fun, or people are going to have animosity towards me because I'm like taking a vacation and like not helping with this like hard thing we need to be working on.
You explained to every Twitch streamer right now.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're not alone there.
And I know it's hard, especially for people who are self-employed, like Twitch streamers, where it's like you are responsible for your success. And if you take a break, which you need to do, especially if you're seeing signs of burnout, it could have like a pretty disastrous impact on your performance, whether it be like you lose viewers, subscribers, or like whatever it is.
So people are really good at noticing if you're not fully yourself. Yeah. I always tell my chat, I'm like, I'll be honest, when I'm in my stream, I'm never at 100% energy. And I'm like, I usually start at like a 50 or like a 70 on a good day. And they're like, oh, really? And I'm like, yeah, but like when we're doing the stream, it'll go up like 20% or 30%. And I'm like, cool, I'm happy that I'm here. I'm having a great time. But like, my energy level, I can't be 100% of the time, because then I'll like pass away. Yeah, because that's hard to do.
If that make it really hard to do.
Yeah, and then make it hard to do.
Yeah. If I could give a piece of advice too about that, something that I've noticed and have thought about in my own head of, if you come in to do a job, or especially when it's like performing or with a team or anything like that, and you're not at a good point in your headspace or wherever it is, like let's say you're at like a 30%, that's going to be noticeable in everything and to everybody, versus like if you take that time to yourself, whether it's a few days, a week, 2 weeks, or if like you're in a situation where you need to take a sabbatical or something like that, you know, a longer period of time, and you come back and you're like, fucking, let's go. I'm ready. I'm excited. I'm motivated. Like that's something that people want to work with. And so it's not only like something to do for yourself, but also for everyone around you.
Yeah.
Because people care about you.
Take like a week off. That's what I did. And I booked myself at a resort in Desert Springs.
I fucking love that.
And I was like, I need this. It was a no kids resort. And I was like, I need this. I need to be by the pool. I need to be consuming frozen grapes and mimosas. Because like that's what I just needed in the moment. I listened to my body, and that's what it said it needed.
That spoke to you.
It spoke to me. Frozen grapes and mimosas, always.
Something Trevor and I did during the pandemic when people were quarantining, because you couldn't really travel very much. We booked an Airbnb here in Austin for a long weekend and just stayed in an Airbnb that had like a little pool in the backyard.
Oh, wait, that's so cute.
And like we just kind of just stayed there and ordered food and swam and watched movies and like had a little staycation just right here in the city.
Oh, that's awesome.
And I feel like that's an easy, fun thing to do. Obviously, like financial situation, Airbnb, it's hard to like spend money on that type of thing, especially if it's like you're in your own city. But like it just feels like a little brain escape, you know, like you're here but you're not here.
Yeah, I think that's my problem, is the money part.
Yeah.
Is like, it's just always so expensive to take a proper vacation, I guess. Staycations are always nice, but I feel like it's still a little different. Like you still feel kind of like you're still attached to everything around you.
Recharge.
Yeah.
I totally get that. Well,
I feel that.
If let's do a house swap. You come stay at our place. We'll stay at your place.
Oh yeah.
Have a little
we can do that.
Staycation. Well, yeah. I think for anyone listening and for all of you, just take breaks when you need it. I know this is so far away from the question that we had. Happiness is the thing that I think we agree on. Let us know what you think. All right. So for our questions today, the first one is actually voicemail that we have. So we are going to play that voicemail for you, and then we will discuss it.
Okay.
Hey there. I was calling because a topic came to mind when I saw your post. So I've always wondered the significance of trust in a relationship. I've always wondered how it impacts us. But nowadays, more than ever, I feel like loyalty and trust is something that really does support most relationships. Like you can't have a friendship with someone or a relationship with someone or a love with someone without trust holding it all together. So that's my personal opinion. I was wondering what you guys thought about it, and if you'd like to speak on it. I'd like to hear your thoughts, and thank you. My name is Brandon, and I'm 30. I'll be tuning in. Thank you again. So long.
Thank you, Brandon. Great question.
That's a really good question.
We did one on the previous episode too, but yeah, we actually have like a voicemail number that people call in that I'm sure we'll put on the screen right now. where people could leave a little voicemail for us to answer on the show.
That's
I'm gonna
awesome.
leave a voicemail. I'm gonna do it.
Hi, this is Lane.
This is Blaine Gibson.
So the question was basically about trust in a relationship and how he doesn't believe friendships, any relationship, whether it's love or just platonic, could exist without trust, which I think, yes.
I think I agree 100% with that. Trust is so important because people nowadays, like, we're kind of living in this era where everyone kind of overthinks everything and reads between the lines. And if you have trust there, it's easier to not do that. And it's easier to like not jump to any conclusions or really like look into things and feel any sort of like discomfort or negative emotion. Whereas if you don't trust somebody, that's all you're going to do. That's all you can focus on is what are they doing behind my back or what are they not telling me and something like that. So
just makes it on edge at all times.
Yeah.
And that's not a situation you want to be in.
Yeah, I'm always big on trust and communication as my two biggest things. So even with my friendships, I like to trust that someone, after discussing what my boundaries are, trust that someone isn't going to break those boundaries, or trust that they have good intentions for me at the end of the day.
That's so important.
But it's really important.
Yeah.
So I would say it's a priority for me having that trust. I don't know if I have friendships that now I have to think about
that you don't trust.
That I don't trust.
I think I do, but I don't know if I would call those necessarily like real friendships.
Yeah,
more just like maybe acquaintances or like.
I would call them acquaintances.
I would say like they're friends, but not like besties.
Yeah, that's where my mind is.
Because I do have a few friends in my life where, you know, for the most part I trust them, but sometimes when I spend time with these friends, they talk badly about other people who I thought that they were friends with, and it's like, well, if you're willing to talk badly about people that you claim to be friends with, then like, what do you say about me when I'm not here?
Yes.
And that kind of shit is like,
Barbara, I
totally
talk
can't trust
so
you.
much shit about you, and I'm
good.
I'm like, she's too pretty.
I think it's also different when it's like you're talking about someone not necessarily in like a catty or mean or you know, that kind of way, but there's just like some friends I have where I'm just like, I don't like, do you feel comfortable talking about this with me? Which also makes me feel weird because I don't know why you'd think I'd want to talk badly about this person. But also like, what do you say behind my back when?
But now when I see you interacting with this person after you talk shit, I'm be like, I'm gonna be awkward.
Yeah, or just being like, damn, that's fake as fuck.
Now
like,
now I'm noticing things. Yeah,
I can't trust that.
I'm just trying to think about who that is.
I don't
think these are people you guys know. Yeah,
I told you.
It could be Blizz.
I've been talking so much shit.
I think drama too is normal in friendships too.
It is.
Yeah.
I think. I wouldn't even say like. Sometimes you're going to argue with your friends. I've had best friends for 12 years now, where we've had arguments, but at the end of the day, we will like sit and talk about the situation, because at the end of the day, we still want the friendship to continue and make sure there's still trust there. We want to make sure that we are doing this in the healthiest way possible, because you can have toxic friendships, and I'm not a fan of toxicity in friendships.
And those can't be like super close friendships. I don't think at any point. I don't think you'll ever get past that barrier.
I want to be toxic, but I don't want our friendship to be toxic. You know,
it's
like,
different. This is different.
You want to dish it, but you just don't want to like. You don't want to.
Well, when we're saying it like that, exactly.
But I will say, like in a romantic relationship, trust is like
necessary.
100% necessary. Imagine if you didn't trust your partner. Every day would be a nightmare.
Keep your friends close and your enemies closer, Barbara.
Hey.
I had a relationship that went on for over a year, maybe a little bit more. I can't even like think. Actually, it was closer to 2 years.
Oh, wow.
I think every day I didn't trust my partner.
Oh, God.
And that was like.
Did they do something to make you feel that way?
Yeah. So it's like, it's a mix. Like, it's like, I don't want to like badmouth anybody. Because at that point in my life too, I was also very like just emotionally immature, and like I hadn't dealt with a lot of things I should have dealt with a long time ago, and it definitely like seeped into my personal relationships, whether it be romantic or platonic. Yeah, I mean, I was in a relationship and we're like 2 weeks in my my ex cheated on me.
2
But
weeks in.
Two
It
weeks
wasn't.
in.
Yeah, so it was like
I had to do a double take on that one. I was like,
I don't know if it was. Yeah, it was like within a span of like 2 weeks to a month. But it wasn't like it was cheating, but it wasn't like a physical cheating. But I don't really care. Like to me, cheating is cheating.
right.
Yeah.
But at that point in my life too, I was just kind of like I really latched on to this person. And so for me, I was unwilling to let go of that feeling for that.
So you stayed
and then so
together.
so I told myself like it'll be fine. I can work through it. We can work through it. And it never turned out that way. Like every second of like every day, I just had really bad trust issues. And like obviously that stems from like personal insecurities and like things that the
yeah.
other person can't control. But I feel like that was a catalyst of it, And so like the entire time I just felt like I didn't have any trust, and it really ended up creating like a toxic relationship.
Yeah, and it
between
probably
us.
like ruin your self-esteem too.
Yeah, it was it was not great because it was also during a time in my life too where I pulled doubles for like probably like 6 months in a row. I was like working like 16 hours every day.
God damn.
And like during that time it was like kind of like towards the beginning of it, it was like like this is gonna start happening, so I'm just giving you a heads up. This is kind of like gonna be my life for a little bit. And like basically the first like week that I had started doing that, it was like it had happened on one of the days, on one of the nights that I had spoken to them an hour before it happened.
How did you find out? Was it like a text message you read?
I found out because the other person that was involved actually messaged me a couple months later saying, hey, I don't know if you know this happened. I'm not here to try and like, I have no problem with you. I just don't know if you know. Because obviously maybe he had a guilty conscience or something like that.
Yeah.
And then
Which appreciate people who come
Yeah.
forward like that to
yeah. Well, it was
out some shitty behavior.
It was their ex who came to me and told me
Wow. Okay.
and who was the person.
This is tea.
It is tea, but like it feels weird because like I don't like I'm not name dropping or anything.
Sure.
No,
No,
like,
you're
I don't
not
want to
name dropping,
badmouth
but
anybody.
it's-
But yeah, it's just like it was weird because then that had happened while we were talking. I gotten a message like we were like actively like talking to each other, and I was
Oh
like,
my God.
we need to talk.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
And
need to have this discussion right now, actually.
yeah, and we talked, and it was just one of those things too where it was like, if I hadn't been told that, she would have never said anything.
Of course.
So and like that was actually like said to me. Like I was like, would you have ever told me? And no. And so like
Oh,
that like
Cool.
Yeah,
cool.
yeah. So-
Bye.
but like that's like that from that moment on, it was just like nothing. Like I couldn't like she couldn't go and like play games with a friend and then not me thinking the entire time
Right.
that something else was going on.
Yeah.
Because your
Or-
trust was broken.
yeah,
So
or-
like, you can't really repair that easily.
Not like no response for like an hour, not thinking that she's talking to someone else. Like it was just like this really toxic mentality that I had.
And then I'm sure that you got gaslit into thinking that you were the bad person
Yeah,
in that situation of like, why don't you trust me? Or like, I can't even go an hour like with my friends without you.
it was exactly that. Yeah, it
You're
was
not like, you fucking bitch, you broke my trust in the first place.
it was like, and like verbatim, it was, I said sorry. Like you need to move on from it. Like,
Oh.
This
it's like
person's
like
on my
I,
shit list.
like
Yeah,
I apologized. We talked about it. You need to forgive me. And that's just one thing where it's like, I don't know who needs to hear it, but forgiveness is something that like it not only
earned,
needs to be
not owned.
earned. It's not owed to anybody.
It's
It definitely
not
like
owed,
yeah.
no.
needs to be earned, but
Earned,
it's
not
like
owed.
it's not on someone else's terms. You
And
know
also
what I mean?
just because you, in quotation marks, apologized, like,
Yeah, it was.
It doesn't fix everything. You have to
No.
actively
That-
work towards fixing things. If that's
Yeah,
what happened.
it was a weird
Shit.
time in my life because it was just like one of those things where it was one of those like relationships where it was so toxic that I craved it. I craved the toxicity because like
Oh my God, Gamer! I know exactly
yeah,
what you're talking about.
yeah, because it's like I would rather feel
something.
the anger and like all
Yeah.
this like all this these shit emotions than feel like numb
Because
you know?
that means that they care if you feel angry and have all that shit
Yeah,
happening.
yeah.
Getting
basically.
a reaction kind of
Yeah.
thing.
a reaction
Have you
means
been
caring.
in a situation like this?
Yeah,
You don't have to give specifics, of course.
Not to give specifics, but it was like early college life for me, dating someone who was really toxic. And basically, that's the first time I learned what a manipulator was, an emotional manipulator, to be exact. But I dated someone who was slinging drugs, who was a drug dealer. And
You dated your own dad?
That's
I'm kidding.
crazy.
I'm kidding.
oh my God, that's good. But he was also like my first like longer than 6 months, I'll be honest. So long term,
that's a long-term relationship.
like queer relationship. So like I thought this was the only opportunity for me and that this was my happiness. But
I've heard that's a common thing with, people who date someone of the same gender. For,
you're like, this is all I got.
Yeah.
And so like there's nothing else. And it's like, no, there's so much more. But I was in that mindset, and I also was in a area where there wasn't a lot of queer people. I didn't really use apps or anything like that.
Sure.
So I didn't know who was around me. And even if I did use apps, people were toxic on there too. So I was dating him, and he was actively like portraying me as the villain in the relationship when he would do things. So like he would cheat on me. He would emotionally invest in other people.
And you knew about it.
And like I knew about it, but if I said anything, he would always turn it around that I'm not doing enough in this
Cute
thing. And I would eat that shit up. I would be honest, I eat that shit up. But looking back at it, and I'm glad I went to therapy, I now can tell you the signs of emotional manipulation.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it's so good how I can pick that up very easily. And I'll see it in like game shows that I watch all the time, like Big Brother or Survivor. And I'm like, you're being manipulated right now. I'm noticing this very quickly, like right when they say the first word.
It's a good thing you and I weren't on the same season.
Oh, good thing,
That
Barbara.
was my MO.
Manipulation left and right. Oh my God.
I mean, and it can be like helpful if you're ever in, I don't know, in a Survivor situation. You
Right,
like,
where it's the
I know
name of the game.
That's the name of the game. Let me practice what I've seen.
Yes.
And I can now use this as a tool. But like, don't do that on people. Don't emotionally manipulate people. This has come from a male Pisces, so don't do that. I'm known for emotionally manipulating. But yeah, it was kind of very toxic for me. It put me in a really bad mindset. It's actually what sparked when I started having panic attacks and anxiety attacks. That is what started it. And I had to go to therapy for that. I had to do sound therapy and art therapy, which was really helpful for me at the time until it wasn't helpful, and found other ways of coping. But it is honestly, that is one of the reasons that's the basis for my social anxiety and COVID.
Wow. Yeah.
And COVID.
COVID attributed to so much social anxiety.
Yeah.
For me.
It was I had mechanisms to cope with my depression and anxiety pre-COVID.
Yeah.
It got worse during COVID, and I had to find new things. I was scrambling to find new things.
That's when you started Twitch streaming, right? It was during COVID.
Yep.
Which, blessing in disguise.
It was one of my coping mechanisms, and still is sometimes.
Yeah, totally get that. Yeah, I think, going back to the trust and how it makes you feel in a relationship, I also was in a similar boat with a previous relationship where I was cheated on and ended up staying in the relationship because the person was so manipulative in a way where it made it feel like it was my fault. But then, of course, like anytime I didn't hear from him or like he was late to something, I was like, he's probably sleeping with another woman, or he's like probably texting another woman right now. Every time his phone would go off, I would think it's a text from someone else. Or anytime he would be like on his phone, I was like, he's hiding something from me again. But he made it feel like it was my fault, which looking back on it now, I'm just like, that's so incredibly fucked up. But it makes you feel so insecure about yourself. Like, what am I doing wrong? Where am I lacking that this person thinks they need to find something else in someone else? And I think that's such a terrible way to feel in a relationship where you're supposed to feel secure and loved and confident and like that this person thinks the world of you. And it's like, why? If you don't have trust, you have fucking nothing.
Yeah.
It's so fucked.
It is.
So yes, Brandon, who called in and left this wonderful message, I think we all agree. Trust and loyalty. I mean, at the bare minimum, trust in a relationship. Like, no question.
Yeah.
And communication. Naturally.
Nah, who needs to communicate?
Yeah.
Just use your eyes.
Well, there are such things as fuck me eyes.
Yeah, but like that's the only eyes you need.
Anyone listening to the podcast gotta come now tune into the physical show.
Fuck me eyes.
See them fuck me eyes. Special thanks to Nuts.com for sponsoring this episode of Always Open. Sure, at the grocery store, you could get plain old pecans, but what about bourbon pecans, sweet and spicy pecans, pecan brittle, or butter toffee pecans? If you want to try those, you need to head to Nuts.com. Nuts.com is your one-stop shop for freshly roasted nuts, dried fruits, sweets, pantry staples like specialty flours, and so much more. And at Nuts.com, quality is a top priority. They roast their nuts and pop their corn the same day it ships, so they reach you deliciously fresh. I have so many Nuts.com items. The chocolate-covered gummy bears, do not sleep on those. They are incredible. And of course, all the different pecan options I told you about are all delicious, especially the bourbon one. That's my favorite. So go check out all the delicious options at nuts.com/open. You'll receive a free gift and free shipping when you spend $29 or more. Go nuts! Thank you to Shady Rays for sponsoring this episode of Always Open. We are at the point in the year where you pretty much need sunglasses every time you step outside, and in Texas, that's pretty much all the time. Luckily, our friends at Shady Rays have you covered with premium polarized shades and quick swap snow goggles that won't break the bank. And they're just as good as any other expensive sunglasses brand I've ever tried. Every pair of sunglasses is backed by lost or broken replacements. If you lose or break your pair, even on day one, Shady Rays will send you a new pair, no questions asked. You guys know I love my Shady Rays. Here are two of my favorite pairs. We got the Clubmaster style. We got the tangle-free aviators. They go with everything. They have tons of styles to choose from. Exclusively for our listeners, Shady Rays is giving out an amazing deal for the season. All you got to do is go to shadyrays.com and use the code OPEN for 50% off 2+ pairs of Polaroid sunglasses. Try for yourself the shades, rated 5 stars by over 250,000 people. It's a lot of people. Enjoy those sunglasses, folks. All right, well, I think we got time to do this one last question, too, that we have. This was emailed into us. And if you are watching the show or listening to the show, you could email us as well. That email you could send it to is alwaysopen@roosterteeth.com. This question reads, my boyfriend and I have been together for 2.5 years, and our relationship is very loving and fun, but not very sexual. I think that the biggest barrier is his insecurity with his weight, even with my reassurance of my love for his body. What else should I do to help get things going in the bedroom?
Ooh, that's a tough question. I think I understand like how he's feeling, because I've probably never been as insecure about my body as I've been probably the last couple of years. Mm-hmm. Because it's like I'm definitely like the heaviest I've ever been. Like sometimes like I don't recognize myself in the mirror, kind of thing. But
it's tough when bodies change from a way that you're used to.
I think it's tough because it's not, I feel like it's one of those things where someone else can't fix that for you.
I totally get that.
It needs to come from like a perspective shift needs to happen on his end in order to like, so true. It's a tough one.
Yeah, because you could get all the reassurance in the world, but you're still going to internally feel a certain way about yourself. And so like someone could be like, I love you. I love the way you look. I'm so attracted to you sexually, emotionally. But if you're not happy with yourself or confident in yourself, it's hard to put that away or like trust that their opinion matters in that sense where it's like, well, I still feel shitty about myself. I still don't like the way I feel or look. And it seems like maybe that's a situation that's going on here, which is really unfortunate.
I'm hoping like the person who sent in this question isn't blaming themselves for the situation, because
it sound like they are. I think it's more of like how could they help their partner?
Okay, because I've been in similar situations, and also like I struggle with weight as well, because I have there's a little bit of like dysmorphia for me because I grew up super skinny. And now putting on any type of weight has me thinking that I'm no longer attractive. Wow. So I'm like, that's extreme fucking mindset, to be completely honest with you. So sometimes when I am dealing with that type of mindset and I look at myself in the mirror and I don't recognize myself, I am not feeling sexually active. I'm not feeling like romantically active or anything like that. So like having that conversation with my partner is very important, being like, hey, I'm in this mindset today, just so you are aware. It is not your fault. It's just how my brain is working today. But I'm always afraid that it will make my partner think that I'm not sexually attracted to them or they're not doing enough to help me in this situation. It's like, no, this isn't a you thing. This is it's something that I need to battle with for myself. But I don't know how to help with that.
It's tough. I mean, it definitely is something that I think your boyfriend needs to work on, to, you know, whether it be therapy or just like, you know, internally working through it. Because again, it's not something that you could solve, I would say. I do think though that a constant flow of reassurance is helpful. So like not only trying to be reassuring when you're looking for sexual activity or when you're looking for something out of him, but like every day give him a compliment. Every day tell him what you love about him, or like tell him how good he looks, or just like any little things you could kind of throw out there to just instill that confidence, and also like prove to him that you love him and you're attracted to him, and it's not just in the moment that you're saying those things. I think that could maybe help a little bit.
It's very cute.
But I've been there. I mean, like I think especially for everybody, it's not just, you know, I think it's stereotypically women who, like, if they're feeling insecure about their body or have body dysmorphia, that they won't want to be as sexually active. But I think it's everybody that this happens to, clearly. But I know for me, it's happened a lot. And sometimes it's just like, well, if there's no mirrors around, if it's dark in here, if it's like somewhere you can't see your reflection or really even think about the way your body looks, that helps a little bit. So maybe just find a space in your house or wherever you are, just to, like, you know, where it's closed off and not really like exposed as much to windows, mirrors, anything that like light. Like, I mean, you know, start slow.
I think another thing too is like, I'm just speaking from my personal experience, because like culturally, at least for me, everyone's like got to be skinny, and if you're not, then you're fat. There's no like in between. There's no like, oh, like you look fine but you could be skinnier kind of thing. Like it's either like you're good enough as you are or you're overweight. And so like that was for me, like growing up in my family. And so I went from like being pretty skinny to being in good shape, and then being overweight. And like almost every time I have a conversation with my family, it's like, wow, like you're big, like you need to go lose weight.
God.
And so I don't know if that's a factor in your partner's, like
life. What other people are saying, and
but like there's also some things that you just can't control coming out of other people's mouths. You can only control how you feel about it. You know? And that's tough.
Confidence is a hard thing too. And it's also such a shame, because it's like our bodies are such incredible things.
They're such cool things.
They make us be able to walk and breathe and smile and laugh and like experience life. And it's just like, it's so disheartening how like society and the way we've, you know, grown accustomed to being living human beings, it's like so much emphasis is put on a certain body type, a certain way to look. And it's like, we're just little flesh goblins living in this world.
We're little guys. Just doing little guy things.
Just a bag of skin.
Just a bag of skin.
Through the wind.
Just trying to enjoy life. And it's tough. But yeah, I think just like be there for him, reassure him. And then, maybe consider looking into therapy. Yeah. Because it seems like it's very much like an internal struggle that he's dealing with as well.
Therapy's great.
Therapy is great. I will say, like, the internet has also kind of screwed me over too, being someone who posts my face on the internet.
Yeah.
There's sometimes I wish I was a VTuber, because I feel like it'd be so much easier.
You're telling me.
Sometimes I wish.
We're going to replace all of us on this episode with VTube models.
Please. Awesome. Please. But yeah, because of the internet, it kind of screwed me over. A lot of my Instagram page or Tumblr or Twitter were shirtless men with abs and stuff like that, and I don't have abs. And so I would constantly like judge myself and be like, why am I not working out hard enough or dieting hard enough and stuff like that. A lot of comparison. And then I think something must have happened where my mind just goes, you need to stop doing this. And so like I would just curate my feed now to like be something that I actually want. A lot of it's like food TikToks or food videos now, or like crafting videos and stuff like that. And I'm like, this is fun. Like this is something that gives me good serotonin. And like my body is enough. It's always been enough. And if it's not for you, then it's not for you. It's for someone though.
Exactly. Period.
Look, the phrase is, if I'm not was it? If I'm not your cup of tea, don't swallow me. Someone will. And that is all you need to know.
That's
That works on so many levels.
yep.
I love it. What a perfect way to end it. Well, thank you both so much for being here. And thank you all for your questions that you submitted to the show. Again, that email is alwaysopen@roosterteeth.com. And the phone number, if you would like to leave us voicemails, which I should have had pulled up way before, is 512-649-0183. So call us, leave us a voicemail, or send us an email, and we will answer your question. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Blizz. Thank you, Joe.
Are you calling the...
Oh no,
Right now.
I'm waiting till we're done so I can leave a voicemail.
Okay.
Thank you guys for watching this episode of Always Open. Make sure you are subscribed so you see episodes every single week when we release them. Also, make sure to go check out roosterteeth.com where we release this show and many other wonderful shows. And watching it there really supports us and what we do. And follow us on social media as well for tons of fun stuff and clips. All good, no worries. Thank you both, Blizz, Joe. Thank you for being here.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us. It was fun.
And thank you all for watching. I'll see you next week.
Bye. Well, you spilled that cup of tea. Definitely, that cup of tea definitely didn't get swallowed. That one spilled all over the floor.